Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Wire. It's Thursday here on the live wire. I don't know what day it is where you're watching it. Probably Saturday night with popcorn. Yeah. My name's Marie Davidson, and I am joining you today from beautiful Biripi country in my hometown of Port Macquarie in New South Wales on the mid-north coast. And I would like to pay my respects to the elders here, the keepers of knowledge, and acknowledge their deep connection to the land and waters here. And I invite you, and especially my lovely colleague Rachel, to acknowledge the country that you're joining us from. Who are the First Nations traditional custodians of the lands that you're joining us from today? You can do that by unmuting yourself like Rach will, or you can do it in the chat.
Not very noisy, is it? I think it's because it's coming through this.
Rach.
Well, I'm down here on the people's land of the peoples of the Kulin Nation, down in here in Bayside, Melbourne.
Thank you, Rachel. And anybody else who would like to acknowledge, please, I welcome you to do that. And thanks to those who've done it in the chat. That's amazing. All right. Rachel and I are here. If you are meeting us for the first time, we are part of the High Wire team. And what's the hat that we're wearing today? We are talking to you today as assessors under the Australian Service Excellence Standards. You're never going to meet nicer assessors than us. I say that in a joking way, but I feel like it's true. People tell us that all the time, don't they, Rach? They say, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Don't we love it when people say that? Don't we, Rach?
Yeah, it's lovely.
And so I think that Rach and I are sort of, helpful people to facilitate a discussion today about how to engage your team in a way that doesn't make it feel like bad medicine, in a way that helps to overcome resistance, because we know there is resistance to accreditation. We know that elephant is in the room, and we are going to pat that elephant today. We know people don't love accreditation as much as Rach and I do. Unless you want to out yourself now, unless you want to be that person to say, oh, I love accreditation. You can do that right now. You can raise your hand, you can send a reaction. You can write it in the chat if you want to join our happy band of people who love accreditation. Are there any? Let's see. Not yet, Rach. Not yet. We have 50 minutes to change that. We welcome you to talk and to chat and to type things and to send reaction. I know you're
sorry, Marie, I'm trying to type, but I think that accreditation is, we're a tiny team in Katoomba, and I think everyone understands the validity of it and the importance of it. It's just for the rest of the team, it's like, if I don't need to know, I don't want to be involved because I have a lot of stuff to do. That's the overwhelm that it could be if people go down that wormhole.
Exactly. So we have to try to frame it as something that people do need, don't we? If we want to increase engagement, so I'm hearing the challenge, everyone's hearing the challenge that Karen's raising there, and to rise to the call is to say, well, I would like to increase engagement. Like, I'm realistic, and I'm not going to get everybody, having a party because it's time for the accreditation assessment, but I would like to increase engagement because that could make it a little bit easier for me as the leader or as the quality person. Can be lonely preparing for accreditation. I always say, don't kill the quality person. They're there. They're often trying to come at you with new policies and procedures. We've got to review this. We've got to update that. We've got to create this. And you're like, go. So I say, don't kill the quality person. They're really trying very hard to ensure that your organisation is successful. So sometimes that can happen. They're sort of put over to the side there, and they're like an afterthought. That can happen. So I want to avoid that. So there's ways, we're talking today about ways that we can increase engagement. And could we do that by having a bit of fun? Yeah. So to start that off, we've got one of these. Get ready. Get ready. What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, it's okay. Relax. It's a cat. It's a carrot. It's a carrot, which is much better than a. Someone said before, is that a magic wand? No, it's a stick. Much better than stick. Right? Even this little stick could hurt if I decided to wield it. What have you got, Rachel, that could be fun?
Oh, I've got my little purple fluffy dot.
Look
Look at that.
Now, there are just a couple of things that you can do to have some fun is, bring it to life, get some props, get some things that could be fun, change people's perspective on accreditation a little bit, shift it just a little bit, not a change, it'll be a shift. It'll be a shift. So I wanted to, the structure for today, I thought, could be, let's play a game. Let's play a game that we created here to help our client organisations get involved in the spirit of accreditation and at the same time talk about some of the success factors. So we created a snakes and ladders game. We're going to play that with you in a moment. And then I'm going to drop on you some exemplars, some things that we've seen teams do that we think, these are potentially high value engagement strategies. All right, high value engagement strategies, and we'll leave you with that. How's that sound? You'll be sharing your ideas as well. So please get ready, write some things down. If your ideas are coming to you, we've got a place for you to share those before we leave today. Now, Rachel might be new to some of you. So I would love Rachel to introduce herself and her background in case you ever get the chance to work with Rachel. And I'm talking to those people who might be watching the recording because I know lots of people do watch the recording. So hello to you if you are watching the recording. Here's Rachel.
Well, hello. My background in community services and really across the spread is there's 30 years of that. And my passion and love was in youth, drug and alcohol and outreach work. So that was where a lot of my early years was spent, and then moved through into different areas and into teaching right across the community services sector in all those TAFE courses. And I just, now I'm finding myself in this realm and really loving being able to help community services succeed and continue, in this really difficult economic climate that we all find ourselves in. I'm really loving that we can help all different sizes of services and organisations really ground themselves in great quality services and have those backups of this accreditation to, prove to funders and other people of where they're at, and that all of those structures are in place. So I'm really enjoying being here and helping everybody. And I think I'm really loving where we're going with this too, of really bringing that fun in, and that fun side and that light side is like, if this is all something we have to do, how do we actually make this an enjoyable process in whatever way we can?
Thank you, Rach. Rachel's also a very, very strong disability advocate. And she works very, very hard in Victoria there with the Education Department to help to change the way that people can access the Education Department if they are neurodiverse or living on the spectrum. So I'm very proud of Rachel's work there as an advocate. Now, I'm busily trying to find our Snakes and Ladders game. It's all right. It's okay. Got it here somewhere. Woo! Just got to wait for my drive to upload. But in the meantime, here's a big, powerful question for you. What are the barriers to engagement that you've noticed or that you perceive? Many of you have been through accreditation already. Many of you are the leads of the accreditation process for your organisation. So apart from what Karen said there about the time that we can offer it as a small team, what are some other barriers to engagement that we will try and overcome? Type or talk.
I think for us, Marie, it was having a succinct way to describe the process to our community members that was understandable.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay, that's helpful. That's helpful. Being able to describe, how did you go in the end, being able to describe it?
Well, to be honest, I did my best. It was more the bribery of free food and drinks that got them there.
Oh, putting that on the tips list. Food. What sort of drinks?
Coffee.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Good coffee, not just canned coffee.
Yeah. Thank you. Someone else?
Hello.
Hello.
I think for us, we do a lot of accreditation. Unfortunately, we've got numerous systems that we're accredited in. So I think it's become normalized in our organization. We actually try and share the success stories from everybody. So we've got lots of different services and different accreditation. So I think it then shows that it's more about us being able to almost like show off. That's the way we sort of, tell people all the good things that we can do and try and use it as a way to, I guess, the mundane of every day and just be able to show them the work that we do and that we can show other people. So it's not just us being able to say we think we're really good at something, but actually being able to say, and look, somebody else thought the same thing. So that's where we sort of try and engage our staff and our young people. I think because we do try and encourage them to participate in lots of different things, tend to want to actually put their hand up and participate in a way that again shows how well they're doing and how we obviously support that too. So I guess, yeah, we don't have to try and we do bribe. I will, the food and drinks do come in handy. Because sometimes it is about them committing to something that isn't necessarily part of what they would normally do. So obviously speaking to people and being a voice that is not something that they're used to, or they might not necessarily think that participating in that way would be of any value. So for some of them, it is being able to say, no, your contribution, even if it is just to put a little bit of a perspective in there, is important. And it does mean for some of them that they would have to consider, whether it's work, study, commitments, and how that might fit into their week. So yeah, it is a big I guess, commitment sometimes in terms of hours or childcare and all the things that go with the time. But we definitely encourage as many young people to participate as we can.
Wow, so that's an interesting perspective there, because you're talking about having your clients participate.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was thinking on this, I really was thinking about the staff team.
Yeah.
But that's a very important perspective there. And you've helped us to understand some barriers to engagement there with having our stakeholders, not to put your clients in that group, but we call them external stakeholders when we're thinking about the audit process. So that's great. That's great that you would be able to explain things and break down any fear that they might have about talking to an auditor.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
help them prepare. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. I'm going to actually talk to you about how we can help you with that. Because I can think of it until you said that. Engaging clients. I'd call them clients if that's okay. I know you have different words, all of you, for your people. Chris says people don't feel expert enough, and so they might not feel confident to contribute. Yeah, well, that's the thing we're going to talk about today. It's really about telling your story. You know, we don't consider that the audit has right and wrong answers. We're not going, oh yeah, that's correct, that's incorrect. It's not like an exam. It's really about you being able to demonstrate how you meet that requirement. And that's going to be different for every organisation. You know, that, and Rach and I as assessors, we need to be across that range of contexts. Yeah, we need to be listening to you tell us about your organisation. So, you know, so yes, that would be another message that could be out there, is that there's no right or wrong. It's our story that we're telling. Karen.
Yeah, I think for us, because the ASES relates to the whole of the organisation, but it is an obligation under our homelessness service. So it's not a big part of our service suite. But a lot of governance stuff is just hidden from the general workforce. Even though we've got a small team, you know, they don't necessarily understand all of the governance stuff that has to go on behind the scenes. And so when you're reporting on it and people are asking about it, they only see what their interaction part is. And so asking them to participate in an accreditation system, that's the whole of the organisation, when they're just focused really on their casework responsibilities within their program. Some have very little appetite for that. Other people do. Other people thrive on it. I thrive on it. But other people really, you know, I'm with my clients and I'm staying in my lane because anything else feels too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, accreditation at the end of the day is about making things better for the client. It really is focused on improving outcomes for clients. So it's very much about their work, isn't it?
What I'm saying is they don't see the behind the scenes processes that you need to have in place for them to be able to deliver this case management. They don't necessarily look at that, you know, the board meeting notes, the constitution, the strategic planning. Even though we engage them in those conversations, it's not front of mind every day.
No, and it doesn't have to be for them to participate in this in the actual accreditation assessment either. They really can be encouraged to focus on what they're passionate about, what their focus is. Yeah. But yeah, if they were to have a look at the framework, if you were to say there's 100 things that we do together to get a great outcome with a client. It's 100 things. You want to know what those 100 things are? Here you go. Here's the standards framework.
They'll say, "Nah, we're good. We're happy to just keep doing what we do."
Yeah, but it's that story, isn't it? It's like, did you know there were 100 things that we are actually doing really well to get those outcomes? You know, so that, I mean, that's, I think it's remarkable, isn't it, that it can be defined. I mean, I know that's more than 100. We're only looking at it's probably 500 things you do to get a great outcome with a client and 700 with a complex client. Sometimes every day. I know, but it's, you know, these are 100 things we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you know, when they do hit a speed bump, they're very appreciative of the policies and procedures that we have in place so that they get direction on what to do when something happens. Or, you know, just a risk management plan that they know they've got a direction when a weather event happens or something like that. We're facing a massive event with our major arterial road heading west being closed for several months. So that has a big impact on the whole community. So, you know, they're appreciative that we have policies and procedures in place, but it's not something that is front of mind every day. So it's more about, oh, okay, we have all of that in place. Okay.
Yes. In fact, one of our tips, one of our exemplars is how to bring it alive for the team easily. Anybody else's contributions about what are some of the barriers to engagement? Rach, if you could just lead this, if there's any more contributions. I just need to turn my camera off because I feel rude turning my head, but I need to get a document from over there to over here.
No worries.
Thank you. Won't be a moment, everyone. And the other question is, if you've got great examples, Rach, if people have got great examples of engaging their team successfully, that's what we want to hear. Thank you.
So, Chris, you've just come back with us. Have you got any experience in this, either for yourself, you know, because sometimes this can be even our own experiences coming into accreditation. Have there been any barriers for you and your team?
Sorry, did you mean Chris or Steve?
Oh, it's got Chris up there. Is that for you?
So I popped the line in there about people don't feel expert enough and so don't feel confident to contribute. Yeah, I think Marie sort of touched on it, that there's that sense with accreditation. I think a lot of people think, well, there's a right and a wrong, and if you're trying to pass accreditation, then that means there's a chance you could fail accreditation. And people are so aware of the importance of it, and if we don't get this, like, we all lose our jobs, and because, you know, we talk about how we need to have accreditation, and so I think people feel like, well, I don't know how to contribute in a way that I'm confident is what needs to be happening. So I just won't contribute because I'd rather say nothing rather than mess it up and create a problem. And I'll just flag as well that I'm actually not talking about where I currently work with that example, because I've only been here like a few weeks, but it's something I've seen previously.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that we do, which I really love, is provide all of the people who are part of the accreditation with any of the questions beforehand. You know, so there are no surprises, and that is a bit of that difference of setting that up. So, you know, saying, here you go, here are all the questions that we'll be answering. Here are all the areas that we will be assessing, so that anybody who is part of the assessment is really, there's no surprises in it. We're really forthcoming. We're really open about, this is the process we'll be taking. Here are the questions for, you know, clients, partnerships, and anybody in those positions, so that people can take those and be really prepared. And so then that's a really great way too, to be able to take down anybody's anxiety about getting it right, getting it wrong, and those outcomes there. And in your previous one there, Chris, has there been, were there any kind of positives or tricks and tips that you experienced there?
My previous role, I was at a much larger organization, so accreditation tended to be managed a bit more centrally, and things were sent out to us. It was probably a really good example of how not to do it, actually. But I wonder if one of the key differences actually is understanding the difference between accreditation and auditing, because I think for a lot of people, those basically sound like the same thing.
That's a really great point there. And so coming together as a team, and whether that's you know, the pre-meeting or it sounded like what you were saying there, the communications that came previously weren't great at allaying those fears of an audit and what we all come with from, you know, that word of auditing. And that's something that we can really come across so much clearer and easier when we've got things like the snakes and ladders, you know, that we've developed, or giving out all of the questions so that you know what's coming So people are really takes down those barriers and feeling like we're in this together. Like that's something else that I think we do really well at Highwire, is saying we're beside you. We're not over you with that, that stick. We're actually here walking this path beside you. And we're, yep, no sticks, no sticks. But we're here beside you, and we all want, your organisation to succeed. So yeah, getting that message across is so important.
We'll continue with our list of tips as well. Loving hearing from you about what's working and what those barriers to engagement might be that we'll talk to overcome today. I found a snakes and ladders game. I'm working on a different computer than I usually do, and I just expected it would be there, and it wasn't, but it is now. And I've put it in the chat for you. So if you click on it, people who are watching the recording know you will have to pick it up out of our resource folder that we will post on our website for you. So those who are playing live today, you can click on it and you can open it up. And you can visually play along with us. So if you open it up on your computer, which I'm going to do now with you, what we can do with the PDF is, I see, 1 second. I have to be able to use a little counter. Will that work? No. Just a moment, I'm just having a look at how I can strike through. No, this is no writing. Anyway, let's not be limited by that. We're going to have someone who's going to track where we're up to. I can do that. Rachel's going to throw the dice. You're going to have a look at your game sheet. When it's printed out, it's a lot easier. So what I suggest you do back in your workplace, if you are helping your team prepare for accreditation, it doesn't matter where in the cycle you are, anytime's a good time to engage the team, is print it out on a big piece of paper. What's that, A3? Is that the size, the big one? I don't know my paper sizes. I'm not a stationary queen. A3, the big number. Yeah. Print it out. Go and get some dice. Hold those dice up again, Rach. Go and get some of those. I happen to know they're about $6 or $7 at Officeworks, and you get 2 in it. So there you go. You've got the dice. You've got the game. It's on the staff room table maybe. We're going to play it electronically today. Right? So it's going to feel a little bit different. But live, it'll be incredible.
And just to, even if you don't have one of these, you can even get the little dice counter on the websites. There's heaps of them that you can just go on for an electronic dice as well. So no barriers.
Oh, that's right, Rach.
Yeah.
Yes, there's electronic dice. Anyway, we're going to use the old school dice today. Rach is going to roll it. I'm going to share the game sheet on the screen. Whip, whop, there we go. And you can have yours open on your screen if you want to, or you can just relax and play along. All right, we're starting here on box number 1. I'll still make it a bit bigger. Let's see. Bit, we can do that. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're starting on box number 1. We're beginning our accreditation journey. Roll the dice, Rachel.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're up to communicate the process and the benefits to staff. That's a key success factor. If you forget to communicate the benefits and the process to the team, they're going to think it's someone else's job. So to fully engage people in this process, we're going to communicate the benefits to the staff and the process.
And this would be a great place too to really define that, like Chris mentioned, that this is assessment, not the old stick audit.
And the language will be important here, won't it, everyone? The messaging. We're going to talk a little bit more about the messaging after our game, but it will be important to get the key messages framed correctly. Well, by framed, I mean, you know, with the right spin. Yes? Talk about that soon. Roll the dice, Rachel.
2.
1, 2, number 7. Form a service excellence project team. Have we formed a service excellence project team? I attended a meeting of a working party, a service excellence working party the other day, and there were 25 people there. And I thought, wow, this is a very big working party. That's making Karen laugh her head off because she has a smaller team. But there were some people who were interested in supporting the process. So it will be important to put a bit of a team approach around this. It can't be done by one person. Roll the dice, Rachel.
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're up to box number 13. Decide on self-assessment approach. So this is the way that you're going to self-assess internally. This is the way that you're going to write some commentary about your story against each of these indicators. And this is the way that you're going to start gathering your evidence together. So some people work in what we call the B&G portal. It's a lovely electronic sort of platform for doing all of that. Or you can work in the Service Excellence Workbook. Or you can create your own folders. All right, there's just got to be a way for you to tell your story against those indicators and to be able to link your evidence. So you decide how that would happen. Some people work in SharePoint, create the folders, give us access. But that's an early decision. Okay? Roll the dice, Rachel.
Well, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a star. You are on track. Woo-hoo. Roll the dice, Rachel. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, I just realized I'm going the wrong way, Rachel.
Don't go the wrong way in your assessment.
Oh, it was a 5, wasn't it? Was it a 5?
Yes. Oh,
1,
one was
2.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on 18. Start uploading the evidence to support your self-assessment. Off you go. Choosing the right evidence to support your self-assessment. Does anybody know how many pieces of evidence we would like to see per indicator around about? Does anybody want to have a guess at that?
Oh, Karen's got some pretty correct fingers up there.
3 is the word from the experts here today. 3 or thereabouts. All right, I want to say sometimes it'll be 1, sometimes it'll be 4, but it'll be pretty much around 2 or 3. Don't forget, there's 100 indicators. All right. Roll the dice, Rachel. We're on box number 18, everyone, if you're following along.
2.
1, 2. Ask your assessors for some initial feedback on your evidence. We'll happily do that for you. You can complete a couple of standards and you can fling us some access and we'll go in and we'll have a look and we will give you some very structured feedback. Right? We won't just say, yeah, good, keep going. We'll say, well, that looks like it's relevant. It looks like it's current. It looks like there's enough. It looks like really good quality documents. You know, it's accessible so we can easily get in there and see it. So, you know, we'll give you some really good feedback there. Please ask us for that because that's a good checkpoint. So we don't like to get too close to the assessment without knowing that your evidence is in good shape. Okay. Roll the dice, please, Rachel.
We've got a 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on box number 25. It's a snake. Oh, and it's a big snake too. Look what happened. There was a lack of stakeholder engagement in the interviews. So we weren't able to interview the right people. People didn't show up. We were calling them. They weren't answering their phone. They didn't know what to say, so it was really challenging. That was a real setback for you. Oh, no, it's not a big one. It's only a little one. It goes back to box 17. So we've got to empower the staff and the clients and the staff, there's a typo I found, to participate in the interviews. All right, if you want to avoid that setback, you'll have to empower everyone. The way that we help you with that is we're going to give you the questions and you can share those with all of the interviewees. And we recently developed a template letter, a letter that you can send to your community partners that you would like to participate in the interviews, and a separate letter that you can send to your clients. Now, I know you don't all do everything by formal letter, but if you did want to, it's there for you. All right, the sort of explanation, we've just put something together that we will share with you.
And that's another point where you can share also the questions that we might be asking them. And that can really allay any fears of not feeling like you're competent enough or that you'll have the answers that we're looking for.
Yeah, you can have some role plays. Now, that sounds like fun, doesn't it? People love role plays, don't they, Rach?
Oh, yes.
They love it like the dentist. I know, I've heard. But you could practice with people to build their confidence, to empower them to tell their story. All right, so we slipped back down the snake there, just a couple of steps there. So I'll stop our game there because I can see that you're getting the drift. Getting the drift. Right, so it's a conversation starter. It's a way to engage people in the process and understanding what success factors might be and what some of the pitfalls might be that you might want to try and overcome. So all those steps are very important. They're not the only steps. That game would have been far too long. So these are very important steps. So have some fun with that if you are trying to increase engagement. Way. And that's coming your way. It's in the chat for those people who are here today, but it's coming your way in the list of resources. Tips. Some tips. All right, here we go. The language of accreditation can be scary, especially if you start saying things like audit and assessment. Right? Those are, ooh, don't like those words. So I would say my number one tip is start with why, with everything, all right? Inspiring other people means speaking from your why, right? People want to know why. Humans want to know why are we doing this. So spruiking the benefits to the organisation and framing it in a way that they can understand, that speaks to them and their work. So talking about the why up the front, why we're doing this. Well, you might start by saying we're doing it because if we don't, we'll lose our funding. And I have heard a lot of leaders say that to their teams. We've got to do this for our funding. If we don't do this, we lose our funding. It's like, wow, what's that? What's that? Big stick. Now it's a big stick. Look at that. Now it's a big stick. Okay, but we need a bit more of this, don't we? Carrot. So some of the ways that you might frame this is, I did hear a great leader once. I don't mind to say who it was. It's Andrea Mason. She's currently the CEO at NPY Women's Council in Alice Springs, and they cover the whole of that tri-state desert area of all those communities out there. They look after the women there. Well, they engage the women there to improve the health of their community. So this Women's Council is headed up by Andrea Mason now, as it was about 8 years ago when I first visited there. And I was very interested in her approach to engaging her board. It was a very traditional board. English is a third language for most of the women on that board. And I felt like her as a leader was doing a great job of engaging those women in accreditation. Like, surely that's like 50th on their list of priorities, but she was able to get them really involved. And so I interviewed her. I was looking for the video today. I couldn't find it, but I'll see if I can find it to put it in your resource pack. And I said to her, you know, in a cultural context, what does accreditation mean? Like, how are you explaining it to your board of very traditional Aboriginal women? And she said, we just say, at the end of the day, accreditation is about keeping everyone safe. And that was the nutshell that she had for her board. And when you unpack it a bit, it is, isn't it? This is about keeping everyone safe. If we do this well, we'll keep our funding. We will keep, you know, our organisation we know will be strong. That keeps our clients safe because they know that they can keep getting a service from us. It keeps our staff safe because they know they're working in an organisation that's ticking all these quality, safety, legislative sorts of boxes. So you think about safe as being a big, broad thing. It is about keeping everyone safe. All right, so the women could relate to that. So that was a nice sort of cultural nutshell for why accreditation. The other I've heard mentioned a lot is that this is just a checkpoint for us. And it is. It's just a checkpoint. And you're going to get a third party. You're going to get some other eyes, like Marie's eyes or Rachel's eyes. You're going to get someone coming who knows the sector, who knows the standards and can evaluate, you know, how well you're doing in relation to that. Okay? And it's only against these 100 things. We're not assessing, we're not looking at anything else. We're saying, you know, we really want to stick with this. We don't want to start saying, well, you know, you should be this, you should be that, the other. We're just assessing against these things here. But it's a checkpoint. And every 3 years we have a checkpoint. So they come and they look at us and they say, yeah, you're on track. Or, hey, you know, don't forget about this. Or you might need to strengthen this. I've heard people talk a lot about this is our opportunity to tell our story. This is an opportunity for us to get some validation for the work we do. Like, we know we're a quality organisation, and this is the tick that says, yes, yes, you are. However important that is to people. But, you know, you get to tell your story and you get the validation through a very formal process. So, you know, that's I sort of say the language and the messaging is really important. And if you're a continuously improving organisation, then the value in accreditation is there. It's getting input into your continuous improvement journey. That's really where the value of accreditation is for any organisation that's trying to be its best. All right, you just happen to tick the funder box as well. All right, bonus. The other way to frame this, so that's the language and the messaging. Let's start with the why and see if you can get some positive spin on the language of accreditation in your organisation. The next thing is to talk about opportunities, the opportunities that accreditation can bring. So frame it in a way that you're going to get something, because most people, after they've asked why are we doing this, they'll be thinking, what's in it for me? That's just humans. So what's in it for you? Professional development. More knowledge of the organisation. Opportunities to lead. Things like projects, improvement projects, reviews of things. Opportunities to sort of go in, you know, be the person in your team that says, oh, I think this is a bit clunky, this part of this process. I think this is a chance for us to sort of, you know, tweak that and have a look at that. Getting things tidied up. It's like a spring clean, right? If anybody's ever done a spring clean in their house, doesn't it feel nice afterwards? When you know where everything is. And when you know where everything is in your house, you can find it easily, quickly, so become more efficient and effective. So a good tidy up and everything that comes with that. It gives you the opportunity to create some working parties, like some cross-organisational working parties where people don't usually work together or they don't usually get access to information about this part of the organisation. And the opportunity there is to strengthen that sort of team culture in the organisation. Mm? So there's some opportunities. There probably are more, if you can think of any. No time is coming. All right, and the third way is to make it fun. We already heard some ways that we can make it fun. Food and drinks. All right, be generous if you can. Where you can, be generous. Games, such as the one we've just played. Another game that we played a long time ago when I used to be, my job was to go out and about and train teams up face to face on how to prepare for accreditation. And I'd go with I had 30 cards, laminated cards, A4 sized. And on each card was a step in the process. There are lots of steps, aren't there, in the whole accreditation process. And what I would do is I'd have 2 sets of cards. I'd set the people up for teams and I'd say, right, the first team to get all the cards in the right order. So you see them scrambling around trying to put these cards in the right order. You know, that was the game that we played there. Visuals, another example that I've seen. This was down in Mount Gambier. Mount Gambier. A few South Australian people. And the organisation is an Aboriginal Health Service, Pangoola Manamuna. And one of their local totems is the sleepy lizard. And they had a colourful sleepy lizard all the way around the staff room. And the sleepy lizard had, you know, it was just different coloured pieces of A4 paper, and it had all the steps they would have to go through to be successful in accreditation. And as they went through each step, they would cross it off. But the sleepy lizard was all around the room. And it was quite beautiful, and they could see the progress. So that's very motivating to be able to see the progress, isn't it? Oh, look at us. We've only got a few more standards to do in our self-assessment. Oh, look at us. We're up to, 7.2. Oh. So I thought that was a clever way to engage people. Champions. People can have fun being a champion for something. So if you've got a person in your organisation who's a natural sort of influencer, right? They're the person in the team. It might not be the manager. It might be the person who's the most sort of, socially connected. And that person can be the accreditation champion, and they can find ways of talking it up. They could have quizzes. They could have all sorts of things, and you could give them a standing item at your team meeting. So if you make accreditation a standing item at your team meetings, and your champion gets up there and has a little game or a little quiz or something to engage people in learning something about accreditation. It might be the standards, or it might be, they play a snippet of one of our 42 webinars that we've got saved. It'd be something like that, little huddle, little accreditation huddle that the champion could lead. It'd be so good if they had a badge that said, ask me about accreditation, something like that. Anyway, I have seen that. I have seen organisations do that. Find ways to celebrate success, right? Find ways, even the smallest successes. Today we finished our self-assessment. Today we finished our evidence upload. Today we finished the schedule, so we know who's going to be interviewed, right? So just celebrate those milestones, especially after you've been assessed. The last day of the assessment, we're going to hold a feedback session. So if you and your organisation have been involved in accreditation with us before, you know that we will leave you with our provisional findings before we go. And we like everyone to come to that, because we are very positive about the success of the organisation at that stage, even if there are gaps. And we will highlight the strengths and the achievements that we've noticed, and it's great for everyone to hear that. It's very motivating, because you've got another 3 years ahead of you of improvement and getting ready for your next accreditation. So you want everyone to feel, oh, this is awesome. So I think celebrating the success with all the people is a key. You know, and that's really nice for people to hear. Not necessarily fun, but it's really nice for people to hear that their contribution is being valued and honoured in terms of the findings. So the other things we have seen in terms of engagement are Teams channels. So one organisation, very large organisation, one of the big cares, had a Teams channel dedicated to service excellence. And the quality lead would post a question about a different indicator every week. Say, oh, this is a question the assessor might ask. Let's say it's, do you have a healthy workplace? How would we respond? And she got people typing, oh, this is how we do it in our team. This is what we do. And we've started this at lunchtimes. And so she got lots and lots of evidence, lots of input into the self-assessment that way. So, and that was at the beginning of COVID. So she had to do everything online, and that was the way that she engaged them. And that's a great way now. Lots of people still online, aren't they? Yes, look at us. We're still online. And that is what I had. Oh, someone said before, it's our chance to show off. So in terms of the language, the lingo around accreditation, our chance to show off. I really like that. Somebody said that. That's all I had. Anyone want to add anything there? Questions, comments? I've covered the most important sort of aspects of that engagement. We do have other webinars on engaging your team in accreditation, such as in the on-site assessment part of it. And so I'll include those links for you to those other webinars that are on a similar topic. And we shall, in our April newsletter, we will have the link to this webinar and the last one, because I just realised I forgot to put it in the last newsletter the other day. Nobody told me, I worked it out myself. So I'm going to put the link to both the last On the Wire webinars in there for you. Thank you for your feedback, Chris. Thank you to my live VIPs for joining today. I wish you all the very best in your accreditation, and we're here to help. So you can actually call me anytime, type to me, email me anytime, and I will get back to you. Now, what do we do, Rach? Everybody wave, because it looks so good. Everybody wave, everybody wave. All right, I'm going to stop recording now. Bye, everyone.